The first time anyone noticed him, it wasn't because he looked important, it was because he didn't. A thin jacket, shoes with a split at the toe, a plastic bag in one hand like it contained everything he owned because it did. The night air cut through the city like glass, and the towers above him looked unreal, like they belonged to another planet. He stood outside a bank that stayed open late for the rich. The doors were tall, clean, almost sacred. Inside, warm light spilled on marble floors. Outside, he hovered in the cold like a mistake. He wasn't begging, he was waiting. Every few minutes, he'd check a crushed piece of paper in his pocket. Not a resume, not a letter, a number, a time. The world moved like he was invisible. And invisibility is a strange kind of fear. It teaches you that even your pain won't matter if you collapse. He didn't collapse. He walked to the nearest diner, the kind with buzzing lights and tired menus. He ordered water. He pulled out a small notebook. Every page was filled. Numbers, small ideas, words circled again and again like they were prayers. The problem wasn't work. The problem was the ceiling. No matter how hard he ran, he kept hitting it. And that ceiling wasn't in the sky. It was in people's eyes. They saw a broke man and assumed broken. The waitress set a small basket of bread beside him like an accident. Hunger doesn't just hurt the stomach. It humiliates the soul. He ate slowly, forcing himself to chew like he wasn't desperate. Then he looked at the clock. 11:47. 3 minutes left. He stood up. The notebook went back into his jacket. He crossed the street. His breath fogged the glass doors of the bank. A security guard stepped forward immediately. "Can I help you?" The tone meant, "You don't belong." He smoothed the crushed paper and spoke a name. Not his, someone else's. A name that made the guard blink. And the moment he said that name, the air changed. Because even in a building made of marble, there are invisible doors that only open when the right name is spoken. Inside that bag was a laptop so old it sounded like it was breathing, a charger with exposed wires, and a single flash drive. Then the doors opened. A woman in a crisp blazer stepped out. She wasn't smiling. "Come with me," she whispered. His heartbeat slammed in his ears, not from fear of failing, from fear of succeeding, because if this worked, his life would split in two, and there was no way back. He followed her down a hallway where every step echoed like a countdown. "You have exactly one chance," she said. "If what you told him is true, you're about to shake this entire city." The doors opened to a private floor, quiet, carpeted, guarded by silence itself. "Before you walk in," she whispered, "you need to understand, the person waiting in there destroys people for fun." She opened the door, and the man stepped into the room, not knowing whether he was about to become a billionaire or disappear forever. The room was colder than the hallway, like the air had been trained to never feel anything. A long table, leather chairs. A wall of screens displaying market charts that moved like living creatures. Men and women in tailored suits turned their heads, as if the sight of him interrupted a ritual. Then he saw the man at the far end. Not flashy, not angry. Worse, calm, silver hair. A small smile that didn't reach the eyes. The kind of face you'd trust, right before it ruined you. The billionaire didn't stand. He didn't greet. He simply tapped the table once, like calling a dog. "Sit," he said. The man sat. His plastic bag looked pathetic against the polished table, and he felt every stare crawling over him, peeling his dignity layer by layer. The billionaire leaned back. "So," he said softly, "you claim you have something worth my time." The man reached into the bag and pulled out the old laptop. It looked like it had survived wars. Someone at the table chuckled. The billionaire didn't. He watched with interest. The man plugged in the charger. The laptop flickered to life, coughing light. He inserted the flash drive. A graph appeared. Then another, then a simulation, numbers rolling like a storm. "You built this?" one of the executives asked. The billionaire's eyes narrowed just slightly. "What am I looking at?" he asked. The man took a breath. His throat was dry. Words had to be perfect. Because imperfection in this room didn't mean embarrassment. It meant death, financial death, social death, your life erased. "It predicts demand," he began, "not based on what people say they want, but on what they do before they even know they're about to want it." The billionaire's smile grew a fraction. "Fortune telling," he murmured. Cute. It's not luck, the man said. It uses micro-signals, purchase patterns, weather fluctuations, social behavior shifts, small changes that companies ignore until they pile up. And what would I do with this? He asked. You'd buy before everyone else. You'd move inventory before the wave. You'd own the trend. I pitched it. They told me it was interesting, and then they stole it. They copied the structure. One of them even filed a patent. But I rebuilt it. Faster, cleaner, harder to copy, and then I realized the only place safe from thieves is inside the house of a bigger thief. The room inhaled. Time froze. Then the billionaire smiled, slowly, finally, a real smile, because he heard respect. Interesting, he said. I can make you rich. I can also erase you. In return for the system, you get money, housing, protection. It sounded like a cage, a clause buried deep, a trap. If he signed, the billionaire would own everything, not just the system, but his mind, his life. Sign, he said. He looked at the pen. He realized the truth about becoming a billionaire. Sometimes the biggest enemy isn't poverty. It's the rich offering a way out. He made a decision that would either set him free or start a war he couldn't win. Project Mirror, the billionaire game. He didn't sign, not yet. He lowered the pen slowly as if he'd just remembered something important. I need one change, he said. The billionaire tilted his head, amused. You're negotiating? He asked, voice smooth as ice melting. I'll work, he said. I'll bring the system fully operational, but the rights to future inventions stay mine. The billionaire didn't blink. What you're missing, he said, is that ownership isn't about profit, it's about control. He walked to the window, looking down on the city like his personal chessboard. Inventors get celebrated for a week, then eaten. The billionaire snapped his fingers. A folder opened, pictures of him at the diner, sleeping on a bench. I know what you're afraid of. He built it because of his mother. She trusted a company that promised stability, until the doors were locked. No pay, no warning. I built it, he said, because I'm tired of being powerless. The billionaire smiled. That hunger, that's what I buy. He pulled out a second flash drive. The real engine is here, encrypted. If anything happens to me, it deletes itself. And a copy goes public. The billionaire stared. For the first time, the man saw it. Fear. The billionaire kind. The fear of losing control. Fine, the billionaire said. You get limited rights, a small percentage. Your name stays off the papers. You work for me, quietly. He slid a black card across the table. No limit. It could erase his hunger. It could also erase his soul. One more condition, the man said. I want one chance to use this system for myself. One launch, one move, one trade. The billionaire nodded slowly. One chance. Remember, the billionaire called after him, the moment you start winning, someone will try to kill you. He walked out with the black card. Tonight, he was going to make his first billionaire move, and someone was already watching. 3 days later, the man stood in a high-rise apartment that didn't smell like desperation. The bed was too soft. The silence was too clean. He should have felt safe. He didn't. Safety to someone who's been hungry feels like a trap you haven't discovered yet. His laptop sat on a glass table. One chance. He opened the system. The world turned into patterns, heat maps, signals, tiny tremors before the quake. He chose a sector the rich ignored, something boring, because boring is where blind spots live. He watched the data pulse, a sudden spike. It felt like listening to a secret conversation between the future and the present. He executed the move, precise, and then he waited. Waiting is torture when you have hope. Then his screen changed. Profit. At first small, then numbers that made his hands go cold. His system was working. He felt a rush, disbelief mixed with grief. He realized how many nights his mother must have prayed for one single break like this. His phone buzzed, a private number. You're up, the billionaire said. How does it feel to be right? It feels impossible. It's not impossible. It's just exclusive. You earned their attention. The line went dead. Their attention? He noticed a car across the street, engine off. Then his doorbell rang. One time, sharp. A man stood outside in a maintenance uniform, too still. He heard a faint click at the lock. Not a key, a tool. This wasn't business. This was hunting. He remembered the waitress. Kindness in a cruel world. He didn't want to become a monster. He initiated the self-destruct, then paused. If he destroyed it, he stayed alive, but broke in spirit. He didn't delete it. He uploaded it. Split into a puzzle across the internet. He called the billionaire back. Get them away from my door. Are you mine? Or trying to be free? I'll work with you, but I'll never belong to you. The scraping stopped. Footsteps retreated. The billionaire laughed. Listen carefully, the billionaire said. From this moment on, your life won't be about money. It's about survival and war. The man stood alone. He wasn't broke anymore. He was a threat. The story of going from zero to billionaire isn't about luck. It's about what you're willing to lose when the world finally notices you exist.